Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 18th day of August 2020. Well, if you watch the Esoteric Influences, it's currently uploading to YouTube. But if you've watched it by the time you see this, then you know I was ranting a bit about the Postal Service and the fact that people aren't getting their medications on time. So please flood the phone lines, flood the email, flood Twitter with your stories if you happen to be someone who is not getting your medications on time. They're going to be meeting on Monday with the Postmaster General, Congress is, and tweet to Speaker Pelosi, let her know what your issues are and what's happening to you and how long it's taking and and how that's affecting your health. Because this can no longer happen. This is a crime. That's what it is. It's a crime. You can't tamper with the mail. You can't interfere with it. And that means the people that are in charge of it, they can't do this. You know, taking out mailboxes and little postal boxes around the town and locking them up over at the post offices. I've seen pictures of that too, where they put these little red things across the openings so that you can't they've basically locked the boxes. You can't get in. You can't put mail in them. Yeah, that's one side of it. But the other side of it is people who get their medications through the Postal Service, they're not getting them. You know, we're talking cancer drugs, we're talking heart drugs, we're talking things that keep people alive. Bad enough the whole hydroxychloroquine thing happened, and now what is it? He wants you to take oleander? Oleander's poisonous. And this is outrageous. You know, look, I suppose, you know, taking your cues from the MyPillow guy? Really? When did he become a doctor? I don't understand. I guess because they got money in on it or something. You know, the self-dealing's got to stop. It really does. I realize that this is largely being done to affect the vote. You know, that ought to be outrageous enough, and it is. But now this is harming people. And this is unacceptable. So flood the phone lines, flood the email, tweet, Facebook, whatever, however you can possibly communicate with people in Congress who are going to be part of that committee. Katie Porter is going to be interviewing him on Monday. Contact her. Contact anybody that if you've got a representative on that committee. Let them know. Even if you don't, let them know. And so that they're prepared with the stories that they need to tell. It's like, excuse me, you can't do this. This person here it had to go to the hospital because he doesn't have his heart medicine. Ended up in the hospital. Things like that, okay? Those are the kinds of stories that they need to throw in this guy's face. If he has any humanity at all. Or just arrest him. You know, and of course we don't have a Justice Department right now, right? Who'll do that, right? Yeah, so they get to do what they're doing? Really? How many people are going to be harmed? Do we all just need to march on Washington? Is that what we need to do? Get in our cars and go? What do we need to do here? I mean, did you ever think you'd ever see that in this country, of all places? That this kind of thing could happen? To so many people at once, because this is it's happening to so many people at once kind of moment. Not just the way they've handled the pandemic. Because in my opinion, it's been sadistic. Yeah. Oh, well, anyway. This is your first time here. I don't normally rant like this, but when I do, I do. I'm sorry, but, you know, I don't know if the majority of the people who get their medications are veterans and seniors, if there's others who do as well via the Postal Service. I don't know. But I know veterans do. They have to, unless they live close to a VA facility that's got a pharmacy. You get your meds by mail. You know, the nearest one to us is in Portland, 150 miles away. So if my husband needs anything, it gets sent to him in the mail. They have a thing where you can only order, they'll only send them out so many days before you're done with your prescription, before you're out. And they do that to control the flow of it and costs and all of that. So we understand, and that's fine. But now they're not getting them when they need them. So they're out of heart medication, they're out of this, they're out of that. For some of them, you know, you'll see on Twitter, they'll say, oh yeah, it's been 2 weeks. It's supposed to happen 2 weeks ago. I've been out for 2 weeks, I don't have my meds. They can't tell me where they are. That's another thing. Some people can't even track things. I sent cookies on Thursday, paid over $8 to do it for priority mail to my grandkids. Again, 150 miles from me. And instead of staying within Oregon at least, oh no, it's gone to South Dakota, to a regional distribution facility there. It just left last night at 6 o'clock. Again, it should have been there on Friday. I don't care really, other than the fact that it's illustrating what's going on. So, you know, I thought, well, I'm going to go online and I'm going to see just what's going on with this. And I went on before I did this morning to track it, and because I knew it wasn't there yet. And it's just cookies. You know, whatever. I mean, yeah, I paid over $8 to send them, but okay. You know, things happen. Well, no, they don't. Not like this. And now I see where it's gone. It stayed in the South Dakota facility. It stayed in there all weekend long. It left Oregon right away. Went east. Why? Yeah. So if you can see it just with the the route the cookies are taking, can you imagine what it's like for people that actually need what's coming? Medicines? Life-saving medicines? You know, it's bad enough with the hydroxychloroquine crap, right? And all the people with lupus who take that and need it to survive. For whatever reason, this stuff helps them. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about the immune system and lupus. I know that I think it was also an option for people with RA. I think that none of my doctors ever prescribed it for me, but I think for people that have a hard time with the other medicines, I think that how they see it is they see it this way, and so they give it to them, and for some patients with RA, it helps them. But to then have a run on it as a fake cure, see, that impacted their lives. You know, lupus is a very serious disease, and some people it's not as a big a deal as it is for others. But for those that it's, I didn't know her personally, but I knew her parents. They packed up and moved her and her daughter with them down to Arizona so she could be near the Mayo Clinic. That's how ill she was with it. Now, I don't know if she was on hydroxychloroquine or what, but you know, I know she was. I know she was at the time. I was on Enbrel. And I think she was taking Enbrel at the time too, injecting that. But by the time they moved down there, she was in a wheelchair. She was just hoping to survive to see her daughter graduate, from high school, and I don't know if she did. I haven't heard. It's a long time ago when they moved, and I haven't heard from them, so I don't know. So to do this to them with the hydroxychloroquine crap, oh my Lord. Yeah, something's wrong. Something's terribly wrong. We've never had to deal with anything like this, ever. Something's terribly wrong. So I hope on Monday when the Postmaster General shows up at the committee, he better. And if he doesn't, I hope they send the police after him, because they can. They should. This is serious. And I got a feeling Speaker Pelosi isn't messing around now. That's how serious this is. So we'll see. Anyway, let's go ahead and see what the reading has to say. Maybe maybe we can do it from that perspective to try to get some idea of what's going to be happening here. When I do the esoteric influences on the hard copy today, I don't include a tarot or a geomancy rune in that particular reading, but I do it in the hard copy. And so today's is going to be Courage, the 7 of Wands. So have courage today when you contact your Congress people and contact Speaker Pelosi and let them all know what your experiences are with this, and so they can be as empowered as possible when talking with the or laying down the law to the Postmaster General on Monday. So anyway, let's go ahead and see what the cards have to say. Maybe it'll talk about that, maybe it won't, but we'll just see. If I need, I'm going to take 3 cards. I'll take them randomly, the 13th one each time if you haven't been here before, and if you haven't, welcome. And then if we need more, we'll take them. Otherwise, we will go ahead and take a rune from the Elder Futhark bag and close out with a geomancy rune. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cards and see if we can get any kind of clarity about what's happening here, or if we need to go in a different direction here. No, the 2 of Pentacles, decision. Got to weigh things out today. Having to do with material security. Again, there's emotion-based. You know, we'll talk about this more in detail, but there's water in the background. The waves are quite big, and the ships are being bounced around on them. So we're being emotionally affected by material security issues, and a decision needs to be made. So if you're deciding whether or not to express your voice today, make that decision be a yes. And tell them what you're experiencing. Tell them how this is affecting you. We have the Queen of Cups, compassion, benevolence, let's see what the 3rd one is here. We'll see if we need any more. Well, the 10 of Swords. Darkest before the dawn. We've gone as far as we can go. The light's coming. Okay. We're going to put that first. I don't know if we want to call Congress the Queen of Cups here, but I think that what this describes is an untenable situation. And I think a decision has to be made, and it's got to be based on compassion. So let's take a look at the 9, or the 10 rather. 10 is about new beginnings. So you can see, we don't see the sun yet, but we see the light returning. The darkness is lifting. Yes, he's dead on the ground. Yes, there are 10 swords in his back. But what that means is that it's just reason that has run mad. Basically, it's too much perception is just not working. How you see things is not working. What's going on is not working for you anymore, and perception has just run amok. And none of it's serving you. So if this describes what the Postmaster General is going to be experiencing on Monday, I hope so. But his viewpoint is just simply wrong, and we need a different beginning. You can see here the water in the background. It's quite still. So it's like no more can happen to us. Well, as Michelle Obama said last night, if you think it can't get worse, it can. And it will. So we have a 2 here, a 2 of Pentacles. Pentacles is about the, oh, come on back on here. Come on, there we go. I'm getting a new computer today, so we finally made the decision. Yeah, gone as far as I could go. Anyway, but you see the line of demarcation in between the water and where he's standing. He's standing on 1 foot, by the way. Whether this is the Postmaster General or what, he's trying to weigh out what he needs to do, evidently. But on the other hand, I think it's us that needs to weigh out what we need to do here. And it involves you've got some emotions going on there in the background. Things are up and down. Trying to get through. You can see the big ship there is going up the wave as the other one goes down. So emotions are doing this, and why wouldn't they? You know, why wouldn't they? When the perceptions of others, basically, I mean, you can look at this as your own, but the perceptions of others have gotten so out of whack that now we need a new way forward. I mean, we had one that worked, you know, when you left the Postal Service alone. And I love it. Oh, it's not making enough money. It isn't a business. It's like an agency. It's like the military. I mean, we don't worry about that. We fund them too much in some ways with the military, but you know what I'm saying? Taxpayers fund this for our safety and protection. Same with the Postal Service. You can't interfere with it. There's laws against that. Even the Postmaster General cannot interfere and break the law, operate outside the legal structure for this, the boundaries, the laws, right? He can't then say, okay, I'm going to go do this now. Yeah, I've been involved in situations like that. And then you try to get people back on track and they look at you like you're some kind of interloper. Like, who are you? Well, in this case, we're the taxpayers, and the Postal Service belongs to us, basically. So get your grubby mitts off of them. They just want to deliver the mail. Don't make it harder for them to do so. So we need to weigh out what we need to do here. Make a decision. Understand that whatever's happening here has affected everybody. In other words, it has consequences. That's the other part of a two, cause and effect. We have to weigh out the cause and effect, which is going to be more important to us, the self-dealing and the money that goes into someone's pocket as a result of this, or, because you have to wonder, right? Is that what's really going on? Are people making money off of all of this? A little more time to self-deal, maybe? What's really going on here, and why is this being allowed to happen? Instead, we need a return to compassion and authority that understands the emotional needs of the country. But not just the emotional needs, the health needs of the country. So we have some benevolence coming in to try to deal with all of this, but how effective are they going to be? Right? Let's do one more card. If they don't have the information, which I know they have a lot, but still, Katie Porter's going to be interviewing this man on Monday, should he decide to show up. He says he will. They have the authority to arrest him if he doesn't and bring him there. Hope they do. We have a 9 energy mirroring today. The Hermit high up on the mountaintop, lighting the world with his divine wisdom. You see the Merkaba there in the lantern, extending its light as he looks down upon creation. But the light of spirit is in his right hand, his projective hand. The staff is in his left hand. And it's a type of balance that's bending from our perspective, bending toward the left, so bending toward the receptive. So truly drawing in the light of spirit, the wisdom of spirit, while he takes his retreat to think about what's going on. And then from there, he illuminates the way forward. He provides the light from which that we can then follow. We hear a lot right now about the lack of empathy. The impeached one does not have any empathy. He doesn't. I don't know. I think that we see the effect of it. Gebo is our rune for the day, at least for the reading. The 7th rune of the Elder Futhark, we're talking about balanced energy exchange with others. It's Kenaz pointed outward in all directions. Again, aligning with the Hermit. We need to act from grace, from the position of grace. instead of from the position of ego to even permit such a thing. I realize what they're trying to do. They're trying to affect the outcome of the election. If we're all going to have mail-in ballots, well then okay, then we'll just screw with the Postal Service. Why not? Make it so they don't get to their destination. That's mobster crap, right? That's mobster crap. That's what that is. In fact, he even kind of said something like that. The impeached one did. Well, if they would just give up on that. Mobster crap. How is it not? Let's see what we've got today. Oh. Well, okay. Yeah, we're dealing with Tristitia. Tristitia is about loss. Laetitia is about joy. So for the Geomancy rune for today, we're dealing with loss, and you know, not only the loss that we're experiencing surrounding the pandemic, but the loss of constitutional protections with respect to, you know, the mail service, vote by mail, which we've had in Oregon for over 20 years. It works fine. I mean, I'm not gonna do it by mail this time. I'm gonna take it to a Dropbox. But you know, I tweeted something last night from the Secretary of State, Bev Clarno, and I've actually met her, and she's just a delightful woman. Anyway, she just let everybody know, said, hey, you know what? We've got a great partnership with the Postal Service here, but don't worry, there's drop boxes. Don't worry, it's going to be fine. You're going to vote. It's going to get counted. There's a barcode. She's like, here's the website. You can go track it, you know. And so contact your local people to find out where the because I'll have to do that. I'll have to find them. I don't know where they are, but I'm going to go there wherever they are, and we're going to drop our ballots off this time. So, you know, but the problem here is that the other part about Tristitia is that we've been dealing with such a loss of security and stability just in terms of our expectations of the government. It's not that when you have change, that change isn't a good thing. Well, sometimes it is. Obviously, the last 3.5 years have not been a good thing, but whatever. That can be changed in November. But it's the uncertainty that you then have to live with when all you get are lies and deception and self-dealing. And you see the outcome of that. You know, you see the two of Pentacles outcome about that. You know, it's kind of in a way like, what's the lesser of two evils? Well, right now, it's not even a question of that. It's a question of, are we going to get back on track where at least we can disagree about different issues and different policies, but surely we can all agree that you don't mess with the Postal Service. It's too important. And whether it's, you know, businesses needing to send a bill out and or receiving products into their business to sell, whatever. Whether it's seniors and veterans and whoever else gets their medications by mail, it's being impacted. So where do we want to go with this? Do we want to demand something that, I mean, we do have a constitution. We do have protections. Yeah, the impeached one wants to blow all that out of the water, but did people not understand the cause and effect of that? Because here's where we are. And as bad as this looks, the light is returning. So is sense beginning to return? Are we going to speak up? Are we going to stand up? Are we going to speak out? Are we going to share the stories of how we've been impacted by all of this nonsense, whether it's the virus or the postal stuff, whatever? You go on Twitter now, every other tweet is almost, it's like you see somebody giving their experience of what's not gotten there in time. I mean, for us, it was just the cookies. That's expendable. Even if it got lost and never got there, what difference does that make? Other than the fact that it illustrates what's happening. But the true issue right now, the true issue are the medications that are not getting to where they need to go in a timely fashion. People's health, we're already having to cope with a pandemic. The stress alone from that, with people who don't wear masks, is far too much. And the loss, the tristessa that we have to deal with is insane. You hear people all the time talking about not just one person that's gotten the COVID and died from it, but multiple family members have. How much loss, how much tristessa are we to deal with? And when does wisdom come back into play from a higher self, higher standpoint, from spirit, to where we can get some authority here that's benevolent, that understands empathy and compassion and dignity. That's where we're at. So I think we need to make a decision. And whether it's a decision to act right now and to tell your story so that the committee has that for Monday, or whether this is talking about the decision we all need to make in November. This country's lost its way. It's lost its moral compass. They look beyond the laws as just something to step over, do as they please. If that hasn't been clear over the last, since the beginning of 2017, if this hasn't been clear, it should be. How many people are going to be harmed by this man, by this government that he controls? How many people will be harmed? How many people will die? All because he doesn't know how to extend empathy or express authority in a way that's loving and caring about people. Doesn't mean it doesn't mean you don't make hard decisions sometimes. There's only so much money kind of thing, but that's really not what the issue is here. The issue is about wanting to retain power that you're not even capable of fulfilling. And that's been clear. We had a chance to get rid of him. It didn't happen. Senate didn't do its job. Well, one part of the Senate didn't do its job. Would we be in a different place now? Maybe. Maybe. But are the minds that are there other than his even capable of thinking this stuff up without him pushing? How did any of this happen? Is it him doing it, or is there somebody who's pulling the strings? But something is very, very wrong here. And now is the time to make a decision and weigh out what needs to happen. Weigh out what's important here. Do we accept the emotional instability of what's been going on, or do we say no more? We're not living through this anymore. We've lived through enough. Enough is enough. It's an extraordinarily demoralizing time. Problem is we can't fall into that and become demoralized by it just because that's what he wants. Because make no mistake, this is by design. This isn't an accident. This isn't a faux pas. This isn't, oh, gee, I didn't realize this would happen. This is by design. Think about that. Think about, we have an impeached president who's doing this by design. Yeah, let them know. Let them know by Monday so that they know, so that they've got the stories, so that they know what's happening to people and what a devastating time this is. So anyway, I guess that's it. Done enough damage for one day. And we'll see you tomorrow. Check out the blog over at Stepping Aside. I'm steppingaside.com. This video and the Esoteric Influences video will go up over there on the left side panel. There's also a little thing that's a newsletter sign up if you want to sign up for the newsletter. Esoteric Influences go out on Sundays for the whole week. And so you can get that in your inbox if you want to. Other than that, I guess that's it. And make your voice heard today. Don't shut up. Keep talking. Send what you need to send to Speaker Pelosi's office, to anybody on the committee, Katie Porter, anybody on that committee that's going to meet with this guy on Monday. And tell him that if he doesn't show up, you expect them to arrest him. We got to get back to the rule of law. We can't treat the Constitution and our laws, our system of laws, as just a speed bump for people to go over when they feel like it, because it happens to not be too convenient for them. I'm getting a new computer today. This isn't going to happen anymore. My husband's going to get this one, and we'll see what's wrong with it. I really don't know. We'll have to at some point be able to take it in and see, let them go through it and find out what the heck's going on. But we made the decision yesterday. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Be good to yourself. Be good to one another. Wear a mask if you go out. Call your congressman. Write your congressman. Not write. Email your congressman. You don't have time to write because it's not going to get there. Right? Not going to get there. Call them. Email them. Tweet to them. Facebook to them. I don't care. Tell your story. Tell them how this is impacting you, particularly if you're somebody who gets meds in the mail. This is scary times. None of this needed to happen. None of it. So, we'll talk tomorrow. Be good to yourself. Be good to one another. Blessed be.